David Baye here for MuscularDevelopment.com. I am in Pittsburgh for the 2014 NPC Teen Collegiate and Masters National Championships. Hanging out here with the guru, George Farah. George, we just wrapped up prejudging. Actually, I shouldn't say we wrapped up prejudging. Prejudging is still going. It is it's just before 5 o'clock. We wrapped up the men's bodybuilding portion of prejudging, as you guys might have caught on some of the videos yesterday. Format changed a little bit for the contest this weekend. All the men go on Friday. Saturday is just for the women. So we burned through bodybuilding this morning. They're doing physique right now. We just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about bodybuilding. We'll jump right in. Start with the Masters over 35. I didn't see anybody in the bantams or the welters or the lightweights that really jumped out at me in the Masters 35.
When you saw my guy coaching that kind of middleweight, it jumped at you, right? Seriously, the guy, man, like we went to the middleweight, like you said, we didn't have any like surprises. But I'm so proud of that kid, Cole, man. Once again, I mean, he won it last year, but this year he just flawless, man. I'm looking at him, I'm like, just like that flawless carat of a diamond, you know? Like everything put together, and you agreed with me. He just like didn't have any weak points. I mean, he was just winner. He just like separated himself from everybody. Proud of my boy.
Yeah, to me, he was obviously the clear winner in the over 35 middleweights. There were some other good middleweights, but when you're talking about balance, conditioning, symmetry, muscularity, I don't think. I think it's a clear-cut win for him. Moving into the light heavyweights, it was kind of a two-man show in the light heavies. They did the first call-out, sent everybody off, and they called Charles Lyons and Stolev. Back on stage, a little bit different physique. Stoley's back is about as wide as anybody in the show. Legs don't quite have the same quad sweep of Charles, but it was definitely close, kind of an apples and oranges.
Very conditioned. Stoley was very conditioned. Unfortunately, you have those arm problem. They're not big. They're not like, and the other guy was like a little more symmetrical. I mean, it could go either way, but if it's up to me, I'll give it to the other guy.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Again, guys, as we've seen time and time again in bodybuilding, two different styles of physiques. It's just a matter of what the judges prefer and what what they're going for that day, I guess you could say. Now, the heavyweight class, we saw a couple of good guys. Walter Martin, who we've seen at the national level before, Deshaun Glass, Mark Erpelding. Now, to me, Mark came out. I don't know that he was quite as sharp as he was last year, but in the front poses, to me, it looked like it was kind of close. And then they put Mark in the middle, and when they turned around, as we say time and time again, shows are won from the back. It was close from the front. When they turned around, to me, Mark slammed the door on everybody in his back shots. And
Mark is my boy. I root for him. I've been pushing for him because he's working with my student, Tony. Sure. Tony Frederick is another one of my guys. He's helping them, so I'm like basically helping Mark. And, maybe I'm a little biased, but just the potential the guy have from top to bottom, he should have been pro. I mean, I'm very happy, and I think he's really like you said, when he turned around, he just like slammed everybody. The width, the calves, the legs, he have everything. Could he be sharper? Yes. Are we gonna see him sharper? Definitely tonight, because I talked to him. So I think Mark was the clear winner right here.
Yeah, I agree totally. I would like to see, again, we'd like to see him come in a little bit sharper. I know last year when we interviewed him here, we got a few pictures on video, but last year when I was here, we interviewed Mark on Thursday. And the way he looked on Thursday, he would have walked the show, walked out on stage, turned around, walked around with the overall. Things didn't pan out. Actually lost, the heavyweights to another one of your guys, Troy Tate. Definitely a deserving winner last year. But I think we're probably going to see, Mark winning the heavyweight class. And with the way some of the other divisions look, they're giving away 3 pro cards in the over 35, I believe, the top 3 in the overall. You could very well see Mark Erpelding walk away with the pro card tonight, something he's been chasing for a very long time. So hopefully we can get him in a little bit tighter tonight. Moving on to the super heavyweights, it looked like it was pretty close between John Meadows and John Anderson. John Anderson from California, for the guys who aren't familiar. Huge upper body on John. Wheels not quite as big as his upper body, and John Meadows, as far as his physique, we all know.
My guy was in there too. Dave Fish. Dave Fish came in. They put him in the middle. The only thing with Dave is he doesn't like strike that he's good until he start hitting poses, and you're like, wow, where'd this guy come from?
Doesn't quite pop.
He's really definitely in the mix because they put him in the middle, then they move to the side. They put each one of those gentlemen in the middle. What I want to mention about Dave Fish competed here and about 2 years ago at 198 pounds.
What did he weigh in at this week?
43. So I put like a 45 pound on the guy, and to come in this condition, I'm so proud of him. Very, very proud. I had to mention it because he's my boy, you know.
Absolutely.
So you know, it's still actually battle. I like this. This is actually the closest, you know, class. I think, you know, we didn't have somebody like wow. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, how personally, how do you feel about John Meadows' physique? I mean, we all know
John is amazing.
structurally.
His condition, I mean, if he have the structure to match his condition, holy mackerel, nobody's gonna touch the guy. But structurally, he's not the best. He's have something to fight. You know, he's fighting against them. I hope to see him making it because he's one of the
I think everybody does. Yeah.
nicest people. So just gotta have to wait and see what happened tonight, man.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed for John Meadows winning the super heavyweights. And for Dave, well, yeah. All right, you know, moving on into the 40s class, the 40 over 40 middleweights. Same story with Cole. We really don't have to revisit that. Cole came out. That was that. As far as the light heavyweights, a couple of guys, you know, one of the things at this show, guys, if you're not familiar, when we have like an over 35 and an over 40, if somebody's over 40, they can compete in the over 35, they can compete in the over 40. If somebody's over 50, you know, they can, yeah, you can cross over to a bunch of different classes. So there's some guys that you see in the over 35 that do well there. You know, jump into the over 40, depending on who's there, might not do so well.
In this, because you need to mention that the head judges change, and some of the judges are changing. So, you know, and everybody have a little preference and stuff. Look, as we see a lot of the people that were in the first call out, you know, and they didn't make the second call out, you know, in the 40. So it's a little weird judging. Mind you, they had to wait a couple hours, so things could, you know, go wrong in a couple hours. People can flatten out. People can, you know, get drier. So it depends on, you know, how your luck of the draw. If you have good guru, he'll keep you there.
Right.
No,
now moving on into the heavyweights over 40s, we saw a guy in the heavyweights, George Asmus. Huge arms. They looked a tad bit funky. I don't know if it was a scar on one of them, so I don't want to be, you know, pointing fingers.
I don't want to.
But you know, the guy was gigantic. You know, they had him in the middle.
And conditioned. He's conditioned and big. You know, maybe if I want to pick anything, maybe we'll more sweep and stuff because we talked. But he's good. The guy's good.
Yeah, and, another guy, Kevin Sperling. You know, one of the guys you'll see.
Best physique on the stage.
Yes.
Kevin used to be my guy, you know, but he was in the military. We got busy, and we talked. He said, "Man, I'm coming back." Blah blah blah. Great physique, amazing potential. This guy will make it a pro. He's gonna be very, very, you know, good pro. And he's gonna be way better than being an amateur, honestly.
Yeah, if you guys get a chance, go look at the pictures. He'll really jump out, especially in his rear lat spread and his front lat spread. Tiny waist, these huge high lats that just flare out. Just not quite as in good a shape as he needed to be. You know, if we're moving into the super heavyweights, John Anderson, John Meadows there again. We saw Aubrey Gaines there, not the biggest guy, but a really pretty physique. And then the freak of the class, Ron Sargent. You know.
Yeah, he was a freak. I mean, he was a freak, but I don't know what they're gonna do with him neither. You know. Yeah. Because based on the call out, it's just you never know here.
Yeah, I mean, Ron walks out and he looks. I mean, even in a super heavyweight class, he looks really impressive. But doesn't doesn't quite bring the conditioning, and the symmetry isn't quite as good as some of the other guys. So he doesn't necessarily always receive the love from the judges.
They sent 3 people back, and he wasn't one of them. So you know that should tell you some of the story.
Yeah. And we're gonna move on into collegiates. Just kind of brush over this a little bit. Pretty small showing for the collegiates as we see here a lot. You know, one of the things about this particular show or any national level show for a college age kid, you know, usually most college kids a little bit tight on money and traveling, hotels. So yeah. So that, you know, that one of the things about collegiate nationals is it's a good show and it's a good chance for people to get their name out on a national level. Definitely. I wouldn't say it's the best college kids in the country because, you know, you got college kids in California or Florida or wherever that aren't going to be able to make the trip to Pittsburgh, whether it be a timing thing or a money thing or whatever. But, you know, that all being said, in the light heavyweights, 2 kids, Chris Vittori, Lucas Gladish, huge quads. He was actually in the teen division too. I think you'll see Chris as the winner in the light heavies. Now in the heavyweights, you know, we saw Cody Montgomery, our 2-time teen national champion, jump into the collegiates. Now, you know, Cody's really dominated the teenage scene, but you got to remember 2 years in a row. But at 19 years old, he's going up against some guys who are, you know, 22, 23, 24 years old. And when you're talking about putting on size and mass, the difference between a 19 and a 23-year-old can be a lot. How do you think he fared? Because you know, he didn't walk away with it.
He looks good enough that he could win it, but he's definitely not like killing it like he did with the teen. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that kid next to him, the little taller kid, I thought he looks amazing. You know, I mean, he's thicker, bigger, and like you said, he might have 3-4 years on him, so that makes all the difference. But I still like Cody because I think Cody is going to make an amazing pro. You know.
And I agree. I think Cody is probably good enough to win that class, but it's definitely not by a landslide. And if he doesn't walk away the winner, I don't think too many people are going to be able to be upset about him not being so. You know, as far as Cody in the teenage class, I don't think it's even a question.
No.
You know, I think yeah. So you know, we might see him as a collegiate champion. Definitely expect to see him as a 3-time teenage champion. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's no problem there.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, we'll tell you what, we're going to wrap things up. We're going to head back in, finish bringing you all the coverage for the men's physique division from the Masters and the collegiate and the teens. Finals are supposed to start at 5 o'clock tonight. Prejudging actually is going to run into the finals, so you'll just have to, you know, keep up with musculardevelopment.com. Can't really tell you guys exactly when finals is going to be getting started. Hopefully sooner than later. Right? But
you still have to give, you know, Gary, you did, and the MPC an amazing applause.
Absolutely.
And I mean, we have close to 1,000 without, you know, crossovers. So I think the top 5, nobody can, you know, argue about that, you know, posing at night. But I'm glad they give everybody the chance to get, you know, to show us what they got here.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap things up. For David Baye and George Farah from musculardevelopment.com, we are here in Pittsburgh at the 2014 NPC Teen Collegiate and Masters National Championships.